welcome to another episode of Tiny Nest. I'm Kiva.
And I'm Cole, and this is Caravan, the Tiny House Hotel. You're standing in one of 6 custom-built, one-of-a-kind tiny houses on wheels in Portland, Oregon. This tiny house is called Kanga Blue. It's 160 square feet. It's our largest tiny house, and it's probably our most elegant tiny house. We called it Kanga Blue because our friend who made it is Australian, thus the Kanga, and because it has this blue pine interior finish and blue walls, so we call it Kanga Blue.
So how long has this hotel been around?
We opened in July of 2013, so it's been just under 2 years.
You guys have been pretty busy?
Yeah, actually, we've gotten so busy at this point that there's almost no vacancy between now and October of this coming year. That's 5 months away, so it's definitely a very thriving business at this point, which is great.
Cool. So, what gave you the idea to have a tiny house hotel?
Well, we kind of, I have an interest and passion for urban infill housing, small urban infill housing, and so we live in an accessory dwelling unit 5 blocks away from here, which is an 800 square foot house, so it's quite large compared to a tiny house on wheels, but it's still far smaller than the average American household, which is like about 2,300 square feet, so it's, it's one third the size of that. I have an interest in any kind of small alternative housing forms in urban areas because there's such a crushing demand for it right now, and so any kind of ways to create creative urban infill options is a good thing because there's so much interest and demand for small alternative housing in urban areas right now, and the main kind of housing options that are out there don't necessarily meet everybody's needs. For example, most houses are 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes, and 3/4 of the housing stock in the United States are 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes that are 23 to 2,500 square feet. And 3/4 of the housing demographic demand for houses is single people and married people and or single parents with a kid or adults living together that are unrelated. And only 1/4 of the population are nuclear families. So there's this huge demand for housing that matches the need of this 3/4 of the population, and right now there isn't the kind of housing to meet that demand. So that's my motivation. My wife Deb has an interest in creative, small, funky spaces. She's lived in cabins and yurts and trailers her whole life. So this was kind of a natural opportunity for her to express her creative design side.
Cool. It also provides a really unique opportunity for people who want to try out being in a tiny house.
Yeah. So our core values are basically to provide an opportunity for people who are interested in building a tiny house to actually experience it firsthand. There isn't many places in the United States, or any places in the United States, where you can come and stay in one legally. This is the only one that we're aware of. But it's also a place that not only just for staying here, because that's only 6 people a night, but we also have tiny house tours on Sundays, which allow for 60 to 100 people to get to see 5 or 6 tiny houses. We're having events like the one we're having today, where several hundred people are going to be coming through, and we're going to be showing the tiny houses to them. We have tours for public officials, tours for homeless advocacy groups, and we're doing a lot of information and educational, or a lot of awareness spreading about small housing. So we run the citywide accessory dwelling unit tour, which is last year sold out a week early at 850 people, and this year we've doubled the size of the tour to 2,000 people, and it's sold almost 300 tickets, and we're still almost 6 weeks out. So we think it's going to sell out really early. So there's a huge interest in small housing in Portland, and we're kind of riding that wave and helping to support all the movement that's going on there.
Well, thanks a lot for letting us come and take a look.
Yeah, thanks, Kiva.
Thanks for watching, and if you want to see a tour of the Tiny House Hotel, click here.
And you may have noticed the tiny house behind us. This is the tiny nest that we built ourselves from scratch, and we documented that whole process on this YouTube channel. So click here for a playlist of building videos.
And click here if you want to visit our website.